Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Debbie and today I'm going to be doing a process video using a sketch from Paige Taylor Evans that she put out in a video this past week. She's doing something on YouTube, I think it's called Make It Monday, something like that, and she's creating a sketch and then she shows how she puts the page together. And this is her sketch from 3/11/24. These are free sketches. You can find them in her Facebook group, which is, I believe it's called Happy Scrappy Place. And she posts her sketches and links to the video. And in this case, she also posted a link to cut files, which makes it really easy. So what I'm going to be doing today, you'll see on this sketch, there's two photos, and I have a new granddaughter. So I'm going to be using these two photos. And you see, I've already marked them up because I wanted to make sure they were going in the right direction. So I'm going to stick this over here to get it out of the way. These are the papers I've chosen. So this is basically what the page looks like. Now you could go and just put your photos and back the file with your photos and your paper. That's one of the ways that she showed to do it. But the way that she did it on her live, or yeah, I guess it was done as a live, was that she cut all of the photos and the papers into the hexagons and then layered them on top of pattern paper. And the look was really nice. She also stitched around each one. I may or may not do that. I'm hoping to do that. And she did give the cut file for stitching. So I'm going to try and do that. But in the meantime, what I did was I picked out my papers. This is, I don't think I have the pad here. I think I put it away already. Most of these papers came from Echo Park, Our Baby Girl. So I have, let's see, those I know did. This one is somewhere else. This came from that line. This is a Pink Fresh one. So yeah, all of these came from Echo Park, Our Baby Girl. And then I wanted to put in a couple of others, and I found this. This is a very old, I believe, Kaisercraft, because it's larger than 6x6. They do 6.5, but I can't swear to that. And then, like I said, this came from Pink Fresh. I think it's my favorite story was the paper pad, and I just thought that they went well with the other papers. So these are the ones I'm going to use. And what I did, like I said, is I put my photos in to make sure they were going in the right direction before I cut them, and I just marked them with a photo pen so I can cut them out. And then I went around and tried to figure out where I wanted, oh my goodness, where I wanted each of the papers. Now that I've messed that all up, let me get them back in place. And to do that, just to get an idea, I just kind of tucked them all in like this and stuck them around the page. I know these I had over on this side to get an idea of how it's going to look once they're cut. And I had to be mindful of if they were directional or not. And there's only two. This heart pattern, I need to make sure it's going up the right way. Maybe that's the only, well, these flowers, yeah, these flowers are kind of directional. I mean, it's not a big deal if I don't get them going in the right direction, but I'm going to try. And like I said, she did give the cut file for the background. She also gave a separate file. I think I had this one up here for just the pentagons. I may have called them hexagons earlier. They're pentagons, sorry. So anyway, she did have single pentagons, single with stitching, and then she had a file that cut all 8 pieces with stitching on them. And that's the way I'm going to do it. So the way that file is set up, I can measure the blocks as 4x4. Grab my Cricut mat. They're spaced out, so if I put each of these papers as a 4x4 square on here, it will cut one from each spot, I believe. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull up the cut file with these papers, get them cut, and go from there. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I went back and looked at the cut file and remeasured. I actually needed 3-inch squares, not 4-inch. And so if you've never done multiples on one mat, multiple papers on one mat. I just wanted to show how I do that. This is what the screen looks like when you go to cut the cut file. You can see that there's 9 on here. I'm only doing 8, so I've actually adjusted it in my Cricut program. I took this one and whatever this little line is here off. And so what I do is I look at the markings at the top, the measurements, and I can see that this hexagon, it's actually easier to see without the line around it. I'll lift this up, maybe it's a little clearer, is just almost to the 3-inch mark at the bottom, and it goes almost to the 3-inch mark here. So if I cut each square 3 by 3 and then put them on the mat the way they show on the screen. Sorry for my low-tech demonstration. I don't know how to add screenshots and things like that into a video. I'm not a video editor. So what I did was I just took a screenshot and then printed it out so I could show it in the video. It works, I guess. So anyway, I put my 3 by 3 squares on here based on what it looked like on the cutting mat in the program. And now I'm going to run it through my Cricut and hopefully get 8 pentagons, and then we can start putting things together. I'll be right back. So while that cutting file is working, I'm going to take a minute to trim up my photos. I have to remember which one I had where. This one was over here, right? No. Maybe here, yeah, because it's straight. Right? Is that what I wanted to do? Yeah. So I did mark it, but I marked the outside because I didn't want those pen marks to be showing once I cut it. So I just have to, I use the piece that I cut out from the original cut file. And I'm just going to hold it on there and pray as I cut that I don't mess up. And I find when I'm doing straight cuts like this that my big, huge Tim Holtz shears seem to work the best. There we go. Got a little bit of a white edge on this one. I got a little too close, I guess. We'll just snip that down. Maybe. Close enough. Okay. So there's one. It's going to be going that direction. Now this one went this way. I think. Yes, that's how I did it. Okay. So I want to get her in like that. Over a little bit more so it's not under the white. This is the hardest part, I think, is when you can't see what you're cutting. I did, like I said, I did it on the, used the cut file that had the openings to at least get an idea of which direction they needed to go. Okay. Yay, okay. So those are done. And the file is still cutting, so it'll be a few more minutes. My cut file is done, and I'm back. And now I have to figure out how I had these lined up. I think I ended up moving this one in order to keep it as straight as possible. I think I had it up towards the top. Let's swap this one, I guess. And I have to figure out whether I'm going to put it on this white cardstock. Oh, that's not going where I want it to go. Whether I want it on the white cardstock or if I want to put it on some sort of background. I was thinking of doing some mixed media because in the sketch it shows some splatters. So I thought possibly I might do that. Ow, I think I made this much too small because I have 2 extras here. I do have the cutout that I had or did originally, so I can use that for placement. I just want to get an idea of how this is going to look. So that's roughly what we got going on here. So I decided to try doing some mixed media on the background. I'm not really sure how it's going to come out, but I did go through my oxide inks to match some colors up. And I found that the speckled egg, spiced marmalade, and abandoned coral seemed to look the best with these colors. They were a really good match. So that's what I'm going to use. I have gone through and stitched on all of the little pentagons. I had considered doing like a tone on tone and choosing the thread colors to kind of match the paper, but they were, most of these are pink and would have been kind of the same, almost the same shade, except for these darker ones here. And I thought that would look really odd if I had, you know, 4 or 5 of them in one color and then these in others. And the one that really stood out looking odd was this bright yellow gold color. So I decided to go with all white, which is fine because it is a page for a baby. So I think that's a little more delicate. I did the chain stitch. I used 3 strands of embroidery floss for that. I know when Paige did hers, she used 6 strands, but I just thought that was going to be a little much for the baby Paige, thinking that I want it, you know, a little more delicate. So I finished those, and I have done some splattering on the white cardstock using these colors. It's not a lot, and so when I put this on just to kind of get an idea of where things are going to go, it looks like almost everything is getting covered up by the pentagons, so I'm not sure how it's going to look, but I'm going to use some repositionable adhesive to put them down and see how it comes out. Maybe I'll go back and add some more. We'll see. So I'm just going to lay the overlay on top of my cardstock, and I'm going to tape it down with some removable tape just so that it doesn't slide around. And then I'm going to go in and start putting my pieces down. Now, where did I put my baby pictures? Here they are. And this is Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. This is their repositionable. So that is what I'm going to use just to stick them down temporarily. I will go back and add more once I decide if I'm going to add the more mixed media. I'm going to pop that through there. We'll see how it comes out. I won't make you watch this whole thing. I will probably fast forward this so that you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. Right, everything is stuck down, and the first thing that I noticed, well, the real first thing I noticed was this blob here that I don't like. So that's going to get covered up with some sort of an embellishment. But what I noticed is that the photos are not standing out. So these are going to have to go up on foam tape. So I will do that. In the meantime, I went and got some of my embellishments from Echo Park that go along with, some of them go along with the collection that I used, which was not It's a Girl. I guess it was It's a Girl. It's a Girl or Our Girl, something like that. Looks like all the embellishments I have are from It's a Girl. Now this one is from Welcome Baby Girl, and the reason that I chose this is because of these giraffes. I really feel like I need to bring this gold color somewhere else on the page, so I'm thinking maybe over here somewhere using the giraffes. There's also this Isn't She Pretty that I might be able to use. We'll see. This one is the It's a Girl. Let's see, am I getting frame? Yep. This had the mint color on here that I really like. So I love this little owl This is adorable. So there's a lot of really cute pieces on here I may end up using. I also have, looks like I have 2 sets of this set of chipboard. I have the chipboard frames, which I'm not sure what I will use on here. The frames aren't really going to work because of the shape, but there may be some of these pieces, what does this say? And the adventure begins. Maybe these banners. There's a couple of things on here I might be able to use. And then I have the sticker book, which it's 16 pages. There's a lot of stickers in here. I've actually used a couple of them for other projects. Actually, it's for her baby book. But there's this cute bunny. The flowers would be perfect. There are some phrases in here. Another banner that, actually that would go really well because it has all the colors in it. So that's possible. What else is in here? Alpha, I probably won't use on this page. We've got some border stickers. I don't know that I'll use those. I'm not going to use the months. And then we repeat. So it's really 8 separate pages, but there's in there 2 times. So I am going to do a little bit of planning, and I'll be back after I raise these up and see where we go. So it was at this point that I decided I wanted to mat the entire layout. I thought that the white needed some sort of a frame around it, and I found this peachy pink cardstock, which I thought went really well with the pattern papers that I used. So I gutted the inside of it and glued it down, and it made a very nice frame. All right, I'm back. I glued all of my pentagons down, and now I have picked out some things. I did want to use these giraffes because it brings that gold over. I found this little tag that says made with love, and I think it's actually from maybe a Simple Stories line or something. I don't know, but it has that same yellow on it. So I'm trying to figure out where I can tuck that in. Whether it'll make it to the page or not, I don't know. Love the little owl. And I'm going to put this little cloud up here with the oh baby. And then I had the girl. So that I think will probably go across there maybe, or somehow in there. So it says oh baby girl. Then I was looking for a title and I was struggling, but I did go through some of my pre-made thicker titles. And I found this, which I could do Hello Beautiful, not day, but Hello Beautiful, but I'm not sure I like the gold with that. And then this is actually, let's see, what's it called? Grayson. That's one of my grandson's names. These are actually for baby boy, so they're little dude and little buddy and all that. But there is also Dream Big Little One, which I think is what I'm going to end up doing for my title. And I think I'm going to do it off kilter like that instead of straight across. I think it looks a little more dynamic that way. I'm trying to figure out where to put my third cluster, which I want to do down here, but this spot up here looks really empty to me. So I'm not sure if those will end up on here or not. I do have a bunch of little stickers on here. There's some flowers. There are, yeah, so some of the lighter flowers maybe. There's a lot of little buttons. Same thing on this sheet. There's a lot of little buttons, little shoes, pacifier, that sort of thing. So those will be my finishing touches. I think I'll end up putting those instead of maybe enamel dots. I can use little buttons. I'm going to put that together. I got to put the title down, clean up this mess, and attach all of these things. I put some foam on the page here because this can be raised up, because with the stitching, of course, it raises it up and these little flat things won't sit flat. So I have some foam tape behind the chipboard here, so that'll sit there. This one I wasn't sure where it was going to land, so I put the the foam tape right onto the page so I can stick that down there. So that's where we're going. I still don't know what I'm going to do up here. I could put something down here, but I think then everything is being pulled to this side. So yeah, I gotta keep looking. I do like these little stars. I think those will end up in the middle here. Yeah, okay. Let me go glue everything down and I'll be back. Well, here it is. It's finished. I glued everything down. I did find some stickers, some flowers on that sticker sheet that I liked, that I thought I could bring up here. Did a little strategic editing of them. There was a very hot pink flower down here. It was actually the color of the center of this flower, and it screamed at me as I was looking at the page. So I put a yellow flower over it, which was perfect because I wanted to bring the yellow up there. I did find some yellow stars on that sheet, so I put one in each corner along with the pale pink hearts. And I think that's everything. So I hope you enjoyed this. I am going to link below to the YouTube program that Paige put on, her Make It With Me Mondays, that she did this page. So you can see how hers came out. Of course, she'd used her signature bright colors, and it looks completely different because of all the color. I really like the way this came out with the soft colors. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I hope that you will give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. I certainly love to get your comments, so please let me know what you think. Do you like using cut files? Do you like doing stitching on your page? Those are a couple of things that I don't do very often, but it was certainly a lot of fun to do it this time. So with that, I will sign off, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.